This segment is sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.
This wine moment is brought to you by Ricasoli, a journey of nearly 1,000 years in Chianti Classico, Tuscany.
Well, it's always a thrill for me when I can talk to a winemaker whose name is on the bottle. And that's what we have here. It's a great pleasure. I'm very excited to have you, sir. I'm a big fan of your wine. It's Francesco Ricasoli. Now, you say it differently.
Ricasoli, but
Ricasoli.
It's important to pronounce it anyway.
Yes. First of all, welcome to Vancouver.
Thank you, Jim.
Talk about the history of this great wine, iconic winery that has your name.
Well, we go back to the Middle Ages, and so my family has been owning this piece of land. By the way, we are in Tuscany. We are in between Florence and Siena. And historically speaking, we were always linked with Siena, especially in the most important moment during the Renaissance, when the Medici had such a power. Florence was the banking capital of Europe. And my family was allied with the Medici and was defending the southern border against Siena, although we are much closer to Siena.
Yeah. And for people who have not been to Italy, that part of Tuscany, I love Siena. I know everybody wants to see Florence, but Siena's beautiful.
Fantastic. Awesome.
You have been guiding this ship, this winery, I think since 1993.
Correct.
Can you talk about some of the challenges that all wineries face? I mean, there are things that your parents and grandparents and ancestors didn't have to be concerned with. Can you talk about the challenges that all wineries, including yours, face?
Of course. My family got to be famous because one of my ancestors, Bettino Ricasoli, that besides being a very important politician for Italy, because he was prime minister in 1861 when Italy became the country we know it today. And he was also the one that wrote down the rule of how to make modern Chianti. Fantastic man.
Right.
And I always remind myself, though, that great traditions are the ones that are dynamic. So his traditions were very different from ours. So we have to update these traditions. And this is what I did since 1993.
This is a remarkable story. Let's tell our viewers about these three fantastic wines, starting with this one right here.
Well, this is the backbone of our tradition. Our appellation is Chianti Classico. So we have a perfect example of the three categories of our appellation. We have Chianti Classico, Chianti Classico Riserva, and Chianti Classico Gran Selezione, that is the top, the pyramid of the quality of our appellation.
And your wines are available worldwide. They're available here in BC, British Columbia. Yes?
Yes. We are in, I believe, in around 70 countries.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big operation.
Yeah.
Talk about where you see the future going. Do family members become part of, the children that come up? Do they become part of the business? Is that expected?
Yes, of course it's expected. I think that we have a bright future in front of us. You remember the times, Jim, when Chianti was paired to, the fiasco, the very weak wines and so on. Those times are gone. Today, there is a renaissance even in our wines. I mean, the one of Chianti Classico.
Yeah.
The reputation has been growing a lot. Our most important grape variety, that is Sangiovese, is making delicious but also very elegant wine with great character.
That's a good point to bring up, that Chianti has had a renaissance, has it not, right? Because it wasn't always looked at the way it is today. Yeah. That must be great news for you and your family that it's come to that.
Well, we are part of this renovation, absolutely.
Let's tell our viewers where you're at ricasoli.com.
Yes.
And whereabouts, and can people come to, you've got a beautiful, we're looking at some visuals right now. Your winery is spectacular, but people can come there and dine, they can sample. Yes?
Well, we have, we are in the middle of nowhere, so you need Google Map to arrive. But when you're there, it's fantastic. On top of the castle, when you look south, it's like, diving into a Renaissance painting with a beautiful nature, untouched. Fantastic. Beside that, we have a small museum. And then we have the restaurant, a vintage bar.
That's right,
A vintage bar. And then, of course, tasting room and so on. Then the visitor can walk around the vineyards. Everything is open, so it's a beautiful place, at least to spend one whole day.
I don't want to scare you, but if I show up there, I'm spending more than one day there. I'm going to spend like a week. Hey, it's been a great thrill to have you here, sir. I'm a big fan of your wines and what you do, and thank you for stopping by to see us.
Thank you, Jim.
Cheers.
Thank you.
This wine moment was brought to you by Ricasoli. Centuries-old tradition, contemporary excellence.
This segment was sponsored by the Richmond Sentinel, providing news, entertainment, and human interest stories in print and online.